You will be working together on this project.
Hi, I am Yerin.
Nice to meet you.
Yerin is asking if you are seeing anyone?
Yep,
Dude, she's clearly interested in you.
I don't think so.
Look, she even sends him good morning texts with heart emojis. How can he be so dense? No way. He's totally clueless. Right? It's so obvious. And who are you? I am here to see Junho.
I am Junho's girlfriend.
His girlfriend? No way!
Yes, I am. Leave.
5 months into an actual, real, no longer fake relationship, I thought I'd finally gotten the hang of things. I was wrong, obviously, because nothing in my life gets to be simple. But for a while there, I genuinely believed the hardest part, surviving my sister's interrogation, surviving the amusement park ambush, surviving the slow, terrifying realization that I'd fallen for the girl who was only supposed to be pretending, was behind me. Then my engineering professor paired me with Yerin for our senior capstone project, and everything got complicated in a new and different way that I, personally, did not see coming at all. You got partnered with who? Rita asked, not looking up from her phone, the way she asked most questions these days. Yerin, Song Yerin, she's in my structural analysis class. Is she pretty? I genuinely don't know, Rika. I look at her the way I look at a whiteboard. Rika finally looked up. That's the most suspicious thing you've ever said to me. And you once told Oma the missing cookies were an inside job by the cat, and we don't have a cat. It was a good theory at the time. I want to be clear that at no point during the first 3 weeks of the project did I think anything was strange. Yerin was smart, genuinely one of the better students in our cohort, and she took the project seriously in a way I appreciated, given that our entire grade depended on a working structural model and I had exactly zero interest in repeating the class. She texted me about deadlines. She texted me about materials. She started texting me about things that were not strictly related to the project, and I answered all of them the way I would answer any classmate. Because it did not occur to me, not once, not for a single second, that there was anything else going on. She sent you a good morning text, Rika said one evening, looking over my shoulder at my phone with an expression I mistook, at the time, for mild curiosity. She does that sometimes. She's a morning person. I think it's just a habit. Junho, Rika said my name the way she says it when she's deciding whether something is worth explaining to me. Nobody sends their project partner a good morning text with 3 heart emojis. I think that's just how her generation texts. Babe, we are all the same generation. I did not have a good response to that, so I changed the subject, which in hindsight was possibly not the correct strategic move. The thing escalated, as these things apparently do, in ways I remained completely oblivious to for approximately 6 more weeks. Yerin started needing help with parts of the project she was clearly capable of doing herself. She started suggesting we meet at cafes instead of the library, then at her apartment instead of the cafe. An offer I declined without really registering why Rika, who happened to be in the room when I mentioned it, made a sound like a tea kettle reaching full boil. She wants you to come to her apartment, alone, for a school project. Oppa, are you actually this dense, or is this a bit? It's a valid workspace, Rika. She has a good desk setup, apparently. I need you to understand that I am concerned about you as a person. I didn't go to her apartment, mostly because Rika had a study session planned that same night, and I am, despite everything, not actually an idiot about priorities. But the texts kept coming. Yerin started commenting on things that had nothing to do with load calculations, what I was wearing to class, whether I ate, whether I was seeing anyone, a question I answered honestly and immediately, and which she responded with a single, "Oh," that I again did not think twice about. My sisters thought about it plenty. She asked if you were seeing anyone, Mita said, reading over my shoulder without any pretense of privacy whatsoever. I've been with Rika for 5 months. Everyone in a 50-mile radius knows we're together. Grandma's church group knows we're together. Maybe she forgot. She did not forget, Oppa. The final straw, according to my sisters, who by this point had formed what I can only describe as a reconnaissance division dedicated entirely to monitoring Yedin's behavior via my unlocked phone, which I really should have password protected months ago, was the day Yedin showed up at our apartment building unannounced with a container of homemade food to say thank you for the project, found Rika there instead of me, and proceeded to introduce herself as my study partner with a tone that implied considerably more than studying. I was at the store when this happened. I heard about it later, in pieces, from 3 separate and increasingly animated sources. She just showed up, Susie told me that evening, practically vibrating with indignation, at our apartment with food for a project that's basically done. And when Rika answered the door, she had the audacity to ask who Rika was. What did Rika say? Rika said, with the reverence of someone recounting a legendary battle, said, and I quote, "I'm his girlfriend, and you must be the classmate he mentioned. It's nice to finally put a face to the good morning texts." I nearly dropped my phone. She knew about the texts? Opa, Mira said, with the patience of someone explaining something to a small child. We've been telling you about the texts for 6 weeks. I finally caught up to the full situation that weekend, mostly because my sister staged what I can only call an intervention, complete with printed out screenshots. Rika had apparently been backing them up for the wedding speech or the restraining order, whichever comes first, laid out on the coffee table like exhibits in a trial. "Look at this one," Rika said, tapping a screenshot with the grim satisfaction of a prosecutor. "Wish I was the one bringing you coffee instead of your girlfriend. Opa. OPPA. She said that." I stared at the screen. I stared at 6 weeks of messages I had apparently been reading as friendly and Yedin had apparently been sending as something else entirely. "I genuinely thought she was just being nice," I said, mostly to myself, the horror slowly setting in. I don't know what I thought. I thought she was friendly. "You," Susie said, "are the most oblivious man alive. It's honestly impressive. It should be studied." "Does Rita know? All of it?" "Rita has known for weeks," Mira said. "She didn't say anything because she trusts you, which, quite frankly, is more grace than I would have extended in her position." I felt something cold settle in my stomach. I called Rita immediately. "You knew," I said, the second she picked up. "You knew this whole time and you didn't say anything?" "I trusted you to notice eventually," Rita said, entirely too calm. "You didn't, which, honestly, not surprising. You once didn't notice Rika dyed her hair for 2 weeks. But I wasn't worried, Junho. I was never worried about you. I was mildly concerned about my patience running out before you caught up." "I'm so sorry. I should have seen it. I should have said something the first time she—" "You should have," Rita agreed, "but you're saying something now. That's what matters. Also, for the record, I already handled it." "You what?" What Rita had actually done, I learned over the next few days from a combination of her own account and my sister's significantly more dramatic retelling, happened after their unplanned doorstep meeting, and it required a conversation that apparently needed no raised voices whatsoever, which somehow made it more terrifying in the retelling. I told her exactly 2 things, Rita said, when I finally asked her directly. First, that I appreciated her getting Junho through the capstone project, because God knows he needs the help staying organized. Second, that I've been with him for 5 months. I'm not going anywhere. And whatever she thought those good morning texts were building toward, they weren't building toward anything, because there was already something there. That's it? That's the whole confrontation? I didn't need to yell, Junho. I just needed her to understand the situation clearly, the way you apparently couldn't. Rita smiled, the sharp one she rarely used, which I'd learned to respect enormously. She got the message. She hasn't texted you heart emoji since, has she? I checked my phone. She hadn't. Also, Rita added, your sisters may have contributed. This, it turned out, was an understatement. My sisters, upon learning the full scope of the situation, had apparently taken it upon themselves to personally welcome Yetting to campus the following Monday. All three of them, Susie included, despite the fact that she was in high school and had absolutely no reason to be on a university campus on a Monday morning. "We just wanted to introduce ourselves," Rita told me later, with the innocent expression of someone who had done nothing wrong. "As his sisters. We mentioned how close our family is with Rita. We mentioned the wedding planning committee, which, to clarify, does not officially exist yet, but she didn't need to know that." "You told a girl at my school there's a wedding planning committee?" "I told her there would be," Rita corrected, "eventually, and that Rita already has a standing invitation to every family holiday for the rest of her natural life, which is more than certain other people can say." Yetting, surprisingly, finished out the remaining 2 weeks of the capstone project with the strict professionalism of someone who received a very clear and very thorough message from multiple directions, submitted her portion on time, and did not send another good morning text, heart emoji or otherwise, for the rest of the semester. I found Rita on our apartment balcony that evening, the city doing its usual quiet golden hour thing below us, and sat down beside her with the specific guilt of a man who had been oblivious and now was aware of exactly how oblivious. "I really am sorry," I said. "I should have seen it. I should have trusted my sisters when they first brought it up instead of assuming they were just being dramatic." "They're always a little dramatic," Rita said. "Doesn't mean they're wrong." "Are you actually okay with all of it?" Rita looked at me for a long moment, then reached over and took my hand, her thumb moving over my knuckles the way it did when she was about to say something she meant completely. "Junho, I didn't get worried because some girl sent you emojis. I got mildly annoyed because you're genuinely the most oblivious person I have ever dated. And that's saying something, because I dated a guy in undergrad who once missed an entire surprise party for himself." She squinted at the skyline. "But worried? No. I've spent 5 months watching you turn bright red every single time your mother mentions marriage. I know exactly where your head is. It was never really in question. Turning bright red is apparently my whole personality now. It's genuinely one of your better qualities," Rita said. "Very hard to fake that kind of panic." I laughed and pulled her closer and thought, not for the first time, that somewhere between a fake dating scheme and my own 3 meddlesome, over-involved, occasionally terrifying sisters, I had ended up with a family that would apparently go to war on my behalf, even when I was too oblivious to notice I needed defending. For what it's worth, I love you. Not a whiteboard-level observation, the real kind. "I know," Rita said, smiling into my shoulder. "I've known for a while. Keep up." Inside, I could hear my phone buzzing on the counter. The group chat, undoubtedly. 3 sisters already debriefing the entire Yeren situation with the enthusiasm of people who had just successfully executed a mission. I decided, for once, it could wait. If you loved this installment of Junho and Rita's story, smash that like button and subscribe for more K-Afro Narratives. Let us know in the comments. Do you think the sisters went too far, or exactly far enough? And should we see more of the wedding planning committee before it's official? This isn't the end of their story. See you in the next part.